Ciao! Yesterday Julie kindly showed us around the vegetable patch, and amongst other things she showed us a round courgette. There she is, singing in the sun. She's picked it for me this morning, and I'm not going to be cooking it. I've got something different in mind. I've never cooked with round courgettes before, so it'll be a first for me. But I also want to do something slightly different, interesting, easy, and also fun. The courgette is nice and firm, and I will be pre-boiling it first, as I will want to stuff it. So I'll place it in a pan, and I will be adding some cold water. I do not want to put hot water because I fear that it might split, so I'll start with cold water. And it's floating. I didn't expect that. I will leave the courgette. Once it starts boiling, I'll turn it down for 10 maybe to 15 minutes until it's slightly soft. But in the meantime, I'll get on with the rest of the ingredients. And I'll start by peeling a little red onion. Also, you can use a white onion, individual choices. I like red onions, so I will use a red onion. And I'm chopping it into very small pieces. To do that, by the way, what you do, you go along with a knife and you score a couple of cuts long way, like this. Then you go on the top and you go vertically down, get hold of it, and then you will get very finely chopped onion. Dead easy. Obviously be careful with your fingers, but very simple and quite satisfying actually. Clove of garlic next. So I'm going to try and find something which is not massively too big, medium to large maybe, that's fine. And using a garlic crusher, or you can use the knife if you wish, I will be adding it to the onion. There. These are sun-dried tomatoes that I have left in olive oil, so I'm just gonna get a couple. And I'm now chopping them also into little pieces, and I'm gonna be adding them to my onion and garlic. I'll pick everything up and add them to a frying pan. I'm going to be adding now a little oil, but I will need to wait until the courgette is cooked, as I will need the inside from the courgette before I can fry them. And while I wait, I will start getting ready with some of the other ingredients for the filling. So this is Parma ham. I will be cutting a slice approximately half a centimeter thick, and one slice will be enough for the entire courgette. If you do not have any Parma ham, you can use pancetta, or you can use bacon, smoked or unsmoked, entirely up to you. And I will be removing the hard part of the rind, the skin, but I will be leaving a little fat, as this is very lean, and actually I think a little fat will be quite pleasant. I'm now cutting it into long strips, again half a centimeter thick each strip. And as you might have already guessed, I'm also going the other way, and I'm doing little cubes, again half a centimeter pieces. I'm going to make two separate piles, as I will be cutting the courgette in half, and I will want to have two separate pieces. And like I did with the Parma ham, I'm now chopping a fresh mozzarella, again in small cubes, and I am putting it into separate piles. This cheese here is Gouda. You can also use Edam or cheddar, entirely up to you. And like I did with the mozzarella and the Parma ham, I'm chopping it into little cubes and making two separate piles. I will also be using some Parmesan cheese, but I will grate that on the top later. I have removed the courgette from the hob, and has been standing in cold water now for 5 minutes, and the total cooking time was approximately 15 minutes. I'll dry it up first, and as it's been standing in cold water, it's safe to touch now. So this courgette will feed 2 people, so the first thing I want to do is to make sure that it stands properly. It's okay on here because there is the base, but clearly not on here because it's knobbly bit. So the first thing I'll do is I will remove the head using a sharp knife. Oh, I can hear it sizzling. And now I've got a base on both sides of the courgette. And I'm now in the middle, and I'm cutting it straight down. Wonderful. It's quite actually pretty inside. I can see there are some seeds as well, and the pulp has got different colors. Very pretty to look at. As it has been cooking, has softened up quite nicely, so I'm going in with a spoon and I'll start removing some of the inside. And I've been careful to ensure that I don't go all the way through, and also I keep a good centimeter away from the edges. I'm now using a smaller spoon as it's a little bit more delicate, so that I do not do any damage, and it's working very nicely actually. There's a little bit of water, so I'm going to get rid of that so that it doesn't cause any problems later. And I'll do the same with the other half. And having completed the second half as well, I'm now chopping the inside of the courgettes into little pieces as well. And I'm back on the hob, and my onions and sun-dried tomatoes and garlic is beginning to sizzle. And after a minute or so, I'm now adding the courgettes which I've chopped up. I'm not mixing it together. I will not be adding any salt, as my Parma ham will be quite salty. Of course, if you're vegetarian, you can drop the Parma ham, in which case you might want to add a little salt now here. And I'll leave this to now cook together for maybe 3 minutes until the water has evaporated. I'm now adding a little olive oil in a baking tray so that this will go against the bottom of my courgettes. I quickly spread it with my fingers, and I'll place the courgettes in the middle. While I've been frying the vegetables, I've been keeping them this way down so that I get rid of most of the water. So that's a little tip there. And I'm now going to start filling them. I'll start with the Gouda cheese at the very bottom first. And by all means, use your fingers to ensure that the entire base is covered. My mix is done, so I will be using half for this courgette on top of the Gouda. And I'm pressing it down with the spoon. Next is my Parma ham, so I will be sprinkling it on top, and I'll do the same on the other side. Next I will be adding an egg, and I'm now digging a little hole with my finger so that the egg stays inside the courgette and it doesn't overflow. And here they are. I prepared them earlier so that I'm all ready, and I'll gently add it to the courgette. There you go. That's one. There's another one. Next I will be adding my chopped mozzarella on top of the edge of the courgette, with the hope that it stays there, but also I want to make sure that it creates a little bit of a barrier for the egg, and hopefully when it cooks it will melt and everything will be together. As I said before, no salt, but I'm adding a little pepper on top of the egg as it will go very nicely. And I finish the job by sprinkling some Parmesan cheese before they go in the oven, and I'll do a little on both pieces of courgette. And I put him here so that the whole family is reunited. And they're ready to go in the oven. I'll pop them in for 45, maybe 50 minutes, enough for the egg to cook properly at 180 degrees. I've got a fan assisted oven. If you've got a normal conventional oven, turn the temperature up a little and the same amount of time. So see you in about 45, 50, maybe 55 minutes. Bye. I reduced the cooking time to 40 minutes. A lot depends by how big the courgette is and also how strong your oven is. I checked them after half an hour and they looked pretty much done, so I didn't want to burn them. So you'll have to judge depending on your oven. So do keep an eye on them, of course. And let's have a look to see what we have done. I'm dead keen to see what the egg looked like. If, by the way, you fancy the egg to be more liquidy, cook them for less. I wanted the egg to be fairly firm, and actually there it is. Look, it's looking perfect. I will lift it so that you can see the middle. Look, it's looking pretty good, and it's smelling very nice. I will try some and then I'll go and join Julie. She's waiting for me. I'll make sure that I get hold of everything. That is a really nice combo. There isn't a single ingredient that is predominant. That's why I only put one slice of Parma ham. I didn't want to be dominant in the meal. And actually you can taste everything very well balanced, including the courgette, which is really fresh and delicious. Really nice. I'm very impressed. Do try it and see how you get on, and let me know if you do. Arrivederci e buon appetito. Thank you for watching. Ciao ciao.